Let's talk about eclipse energy. What does it mean when there's an eclipse, astrologically, energetically? How could we and should we work with eclipse energy, if at all? And since, as I film this, we are approaching eclipse season, it's a rather pertinent moment to delve in, but of course this content is evergreen. Because eclipses tend to happen in clusters every 6 months. They normally happen in groups of 2, but sometimes 3 or even 4. Lunar eclipses happen at the full moon, while solar eclipses happen at the new moon. So normally during eclipse season, the eclipses that we have in those clusters are about 2 weeks apart. And of course, they normally happen across an axis of 2 opposite or opposing zodiac signs. This means those signs are 6 months apart, and of course they are opposite on the wheel chart. They'll normally happen in that same pair of signs for 1.5 years to 2 years, depending. Generally, we have about 4 eclipses in 1 year, but sometimes we can have as many as 7. This is quite rare, and those are very transformational years for us. Eclipse season is truly a time for shadow work. Eclipses kick up that metaphorical dust, revealing the things that are rotten and beckoning us to transform, to shift, to change. Historically, eclipses have been viewed with a lot of doom and gloom, as if they're a bad omen. But personally, I think it's far more powerful to approach this with a sense of healing intention. Eclipses reveal. Perhaps what they reveal is not something we really wish to see, but of course, truth always sets us free. And as we inevitably see things crumbling around us more intensely during an eclipse season, by the way, of course it's been a time of crumbling, we can easily feel triggered, and the temptation to respond unconsciously in our old patterns is highly tempting. But of course the invitation here is to break those patterns, to reflect, to see. And instead of pointing fingers of blame at everyone around us, we need to take responsibility, to reflect, to take our healing in our own hands. Of course, at times this might mean cutting certain people out. Because when we do healing work, we no longer energetically match up with those kinds of situations. So much like the explorer of inner realms, or perhaps the hermit archetype of the tarot, we must take our lantern deep to light up our inner caves, to find what needs healing within us. And it may be damp, dark, and gloomy in there, but we yield the warmth of our open hearts. Eclipses, while perhaps not much fun, are powerful revealers of truth. And if we allow it, it can bring us so much freedom. Astrologically, of course, it is always very useful to check your chart to see where this eclipse might be happening, check where the eclipses are happening in the sky, and how that correlates with where it is moving over in terms of your own natal chart. And of course, this will give further clues as to how each individual eclipse may be affecting you and what kind of healing work you need to watch out for. So how do you feel about eclipses? Are you ready for this eclipse season? Oh, one more thing. It is often said that during an eclipse season, we don't want to do magic, do spells, especially around manifestation. It is a good time to observe, to take note, to look within, to do the research in your inner soul. And later on, we can do the manifestation work once we've allowed that dust to settle.